hopefully we'll build a couple of boxes and anchor these belts today in this episode. We'll see what happens, how far we get.
Hello everybody, welcome back to drybonesgarage. This video is a part of a series where my dad and I take a 63 Corvair and turn it into a hot rod. If you couldn't tell by the little teaser we started the episode with, we're going to be putting seatbelts in the car.
We need to anchor a spot for your parking brake. We need to get that anchored down, nailed down, and we need to get belts in here.
We got some speakers.
Yeah, I don't know how great these are. I'm figuring is we'll put one of these in the door, like right down here someplace, just like in this, and then we'll probably end up putting these, boy, for being supposedly 400 watt, not much magnet in here. Somewhere's like so, we'll put those in the panel that we're going to use or have to build to shroud. I watched a guy with a really nice, if I recall, early 60s Galaxy. It wasn't properly tuned, but for the sake of a show, they drove the thing. And yeah, the guy had to ride the brakes and he was wearing nothing but lap belts in the car, despite the fact he actually had racing harnesses in the car. This thing was just going to get lap belts up until the point in time I saw that video where they ended up, because of the bad tune, the guy was riding the brakes right up to the point of fail and ended up piling the car into the back end of an SUV at about 40 miles an hour, and it tore up the driver and the guy, the show presenter. So this thing is going to get 3 points at least up here. We were looking at trying to do 3 points in the back, but I just couldn't figure out a way to make that happen and not completely alter the structure of the car. So it's still going to be lap belts in the back. The likelihood of somebody sitting in this thing probably isn't that huge in the back seat, despite the fact we're putting it in. And even if they are, the back of the seat is going to be a whole lot softer than the face of the dash. So that's the direction we're going here. This harness is fighting me every step of the way. I don't have everything I need to make this work just yet. So we're kind of putting this on pause and going to start working some of these other things. As you can see, we've got the main trunks lined out. The whole front harness is basically put together. It's a matter of making everything communicate here. The back is essentially lined out. We're waiting for backup light sockets, I think. And we need to do cleanup on those bezels and whatnot, try and straighten them out, pretty them up a little bit.
Yeah.
The electric's going to take us a bit to get this done. So, moving on to, hopefully we'll build a couple of boxes and anchor these belts today in this episode. We'll see what happens, how far we get.
You are on film.
Again? Wasn't I just on film?
Yeah, but you are on film again.
Amanda, can you pull that out?
Pull what out?
The belt. Okay, hold that there. Okay, that should be plenty enough. So what we need to do is we'll reinforce the section of the body here. We'll weld in some 16 gauge. We'll weld in a puck of 16 gauge or a piece of 16 gauge up here. And then we'll run some riv nuts in and then anchor these down to that. Okay. I'm not in love with the idea of, granted this is no longer the patina, this is new paint down here. What I'd like to do actually is probably punch the hole, figure out what size we need, and then run the riv nut through, and if we can we reach in there to do so. Let's actually weld it to the backside. A couple of spots, ding, 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 you know what I'm saying? Or we'll have to build a cover plate or, you know, some sort of a panel that actually comes out and covers all of this. Because I think our seats are going to end somewhere like right about here, right? So this all is going to be some form of a, point your butt at the seat type padded panel. And then the interior panel, if you're okay with that. Okay. So let's pull out the 16 gauge. Do we want to just use a hole saw and make like little round hockey pucks like we did for the body? Or do we want to cut squares, and does it really matter?
I like circles.
Okay. Set those. I don't want to go any farther back than this. And we probably want it right about that seam. That should actually work. That'll be our anchor point for the end.
Yeah.
That actually might be meaty enough. That should put it far enough forward where it's not going to be digging at anybody's neck.
No, I want it to cut off my blood circulation.
That's one of the things I absolutely hate about G-bodies, is they come down across your neck and just kind of chew on your neck if you're not wearing a collared or a turtleneck shirt.
Were those the rivet nuts you're talking about?
That's what I was worried about, yeah.
What?
Yeah, we're not going to be able to use the supplied fasteners. We're going to have to do our own. So those are going to take some muscle to get. And I think we're going to want to relocate the ones in the back a little bit.
Is that the bigger version of what I used?
Mm-hmm. That's why I said these are going to take some muscle. Those 1/4 inches you kind of got to pull on a little bit, right?
Right.
It's going to be a lot more material. I have never used this.
You haven't?
Nope. I think 7/16 is the biggest nut cert I've ever set.
Is there something I can do?
You want to cut the holes?
Okay.
Alright, need 7 more of these.
Doesn't matter what part I use.
Just stay along this edge and just... Okay.
What? Do you want me to?
You're kind of far away from that, kiddo. If you get in on it and you're kind of bracing against your body, you're going to have a lot more leverage if this thing decides to bite and twist.
Okay.
Okay.
Did I get through?
You're getting there.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, that's what you hit that there for. Thank you. Where'd the others go?
They're over on the other side.
Oh, you're drilling bigger holes into them.
Mm-hmm. Need to be able to accommodate that nut cert, right?
Right.
So
Are those like washers?
we're going to actually set these and weld everything together. Clean these up. We'll set them. You get what I'm saying? We'll punch the holes, actually put these where we want them inside the car, set it, and then weld the ring to make sure everything is tied together. Okay. Okay. There it is. Now how is that? Oh,
What went wrong?
this got loose. So now the saw is jammed up against this. Yeah. Stuck. Gonna have to buy another hole saw.
This thing can't reverse another way and help it get unscrewed. Or...
It's kind of wedged in there. It's stuck.
Does that mean does this thing work and it just means it can't?
We're not going to be able to take this apart, and eventually the threads that are in there are going to give up.
Oh.
Granted, I'm going to try something. I might be able to get this apart, but I don't know that I can save it. And I don't want to take it apart now and not be able to put it back together again.
Will you be able to save the bit?
No, the 1/4-inch bit, that's nothing. I got a bunch of that. Yeah, this one probably isn't worth getting too excited about anymore anyways. The saw itself is nearly done here by the look of it. For whatever reason, this thing just is not holding onto the bit. I thought for sure that thing broke. Huh.
Is that all we need?
That should be.
Ta-da! I don't think this looks too symmetrical. I don't.
Once this is all locked down, kiddo, it's all gonna get, this is gonna get welded to the body, right?
Right.
In order to tear out of the body, it's gonna have to tear that entire length of weld, not just this. It doesn't have to be dead center, it just has to hold.
Okay.
Okay.
It wanted to grab onto this thing and yank it with it. You do things so much faster. I made a smiley face.
Well, golf.
What's the matter?
Opposite sides of the same line. I was pointing down on this one and kind of pointing straight in on that one, and they're
Crooked?
off. Yeah, well off. I wonder if we shouldn't just hog that out, set it, and then weld it a little bit lower. Lift this one, drop that one, you know, kind of tweak them a little bit. but then we're relying entirely on this, welding this in. And maybe we should do that from the backside. I don't know. Okay. Well, if we can clamp them into place more or less, they should be really close if they stay put. And then we can weld them and lock them in. And then hopefully, because we're kind of riding right on this ridge here and we're right into the tunnel,
Yeah.
that should keep everything reinforced against itself. Boy, these half-inch ones are take a little bit of grunt to get going. We still need to punch these. I've got them marked. I'm almost thinking about, rather than welding these to the outside, is just putting them on the inside and then letting the crimp kind of take it. I don't know. Do we want to weld on this? I figure we'll punch the hole right there, and then this reel will come in about even, because I don't think we want to go much past this with whatever we put in here. Right? So we want this about even with the panel. I don't know if we're going to leave that exposed or not. I don't know if we want to, weld these to the outside, or if we want to just punch the hole, put them to the inside, and then kind of sandwich everything together and use just pressure. It'll preserve all of this as much as we can. I mean, there's still a hole in the body that a good bodyman can come and fill it. We've already shown that, and we're mediocre. Okay, I'm probably going to need you in here. This is going to have to be held snugly against the body of the car. Push that tight up against the body. Good?
I don't feel it tight. It's like tight in some places, not in others.
Oh, fudge. Ooh-wee. Oh, this is awkward. Can't do it that way. Is that going anyplace?
It feels tight to me.
Okay, so it did get drawn in. Good. Second verse, same as the first. Woo-wee! That sucked.
Spectaculous.
Spectacular. All right, kiddo.
Dad,
Yeah.
it looks like the ends are just kind of floating.
Yeah. That's why I brought the hammer. And you're gonna have to put more meat in there, kiddo. Because you're just running a bead along the edge of the donut. You're not actually burning into the body. I would weld the bottom of that.
It looks like it's kind of loose and it's doing a wiggle wobble.
Yeah, I would weld the bottom, get that all anchored in, and then start working the top of it.
It's been a while since I've done anything like
I know, I can tell.
That's not encouraging.
We're both rusty, don't worry about it. Just, approach it strategically. All right. I don't like that. Let me see the helmet.
I looked at it.
It's not hurt, but I feel better about that.
On the bright side, I noticed my beats were looking a little nicer as I spent more time welding.
Hey, kiddo.
Wow!
You're lifting the bottom. I'd pin that bottom down and then start working the top.
The camera was acting weird, so we didn't get much footage after that, nor did we get to secure all the belts in because we were missing some bolts. But most of the work is done. So that's about all for this video. Stay warm and hydrated, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!